side was Don on?
He was on this side.
Oh,
It's probably easier to see.
Is this south?
Yeah, this is the south.
I see. Okay.
So basically,
I love the chopsticks.
yeah, you need chopsticks in this game because to move these chips around, you literally need to actually move these here. So, yeah, well, obviously, yeah, Don was playing the Confederacy. We have basically, if you look at there's a play turn order here.
Are these already recording?
Yeah. So there's a turn order. So we're actually.
I don't know what you want. Dude, guess what I passed by on my way back here?
What's that?
I finally realized it. Fort AP Hill. I was like, oh, I read about that.
AP Hill.
Yeah. I'm like, that's really
these corps commanders, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty crazy.
AP Hill.
Yeah, have you been there yet?
Fort AP Hill, I haven't talked to. No.
It's fine.
I wonder if it was a fort during the Civil War or after.
Well, it was definitely not called Fort AP Hill back then, I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. It was probably named something generic, I don't know.
No, I'm just saying like a fort, like if it was a fort, like a Civil War fort, that they eventually just named it, after the general, or was it a fort later on?
I don't know.
It was like a brand new fort. But yeah. So anyways.
What the hell? Tennessee's up here?
So yeah, this is Tennessee right here. So we have we're picking up this game in summer of 1862. So we've played 4 turns already.
So this is the beginning.
Summer of 1862 is basically we're still it's like 1/4 completed with the game basically at this point. It goes to 1865 here.
And it's not like the other game where the end of game can speed up, right?
So the game can end earlier with automatic victory. For both sides can get an automatic victory, but you're most of the time, for the most part, it plays out to 1865, and then if neither one's gotten an automatic victory, it'll go into final scoring, and then that's basically the Union should have control of 10 states, border or south states, and then there's like strategic will, which I'll kind of get into shortly, but
Iron Will.
basically it has to be a Union victory. The Union actually has to do a lot to kind of get the victory. For the South, the Confederacy can actually just hold the line as best as possible, and they can basically get a victory by just making it into a stalemate.
Oh, that's interesting.
Now we do have the strategic will, so we have the counters here. So both sides, the Union and the South, both start with 100 strategic will. So if either side drops it all the way to 0, they're done. They lose the game. Will that happen? We haven't seen it yet in any of the games, but for the most part, there's positive ways to get strategic will and negative ways, and you can hurt your opponent.
You can have negative ways to gain strategic will?
No, negative ways to hurt your opponent. So I can play a card, for instance, that makes you lose strategic will. Or just recently, West Virginia fell into the Union hands. So the Union strategic will went up 5, and the South went down 5.
It's not a zero-sum game, is it?
What do you mean?
The only way I'm getting 5 points is if I take it from you.
No.
Okay, that's what
you can capturing a southern Confederate fort is a minus on the Confederates, but the Union, nothing happens. The Union, they don't gain anything, and also if they don't, even even if they lose, a Union loses their fort, it doesn't apply to the Union. So it's really kind of, sometimes it's not really, it's really applicable.
Oh, you can do blockades then.
Yeah, so the blockade is, there's like four. I'll kind of get into the blockade when we just go through this turn.
Sure. Let's do this.
So I'm not going to go much further into the actual strategic will thing because there's a lot of ways. If you actually flip this to the see the strategic will summary, there's literally like there's 13 ways to gain or lose points, and then whenever you go like if there's a positive and a negative on the strategic will. So if you're losing, if you're on like a negative, if the Union starts off with a negative 100, so if they change the fortunes of war and they gain, so they would go from negative to positive. Yeah. There's a bonus basically.
Oh, good.
So you get 2 additional strategic will points for basically changing kind of the tide of war. And then there's a -3 when you go from positive to negative. So I might have an event card that says, you know, you decrease the Confederate strategic will by, or this one say reduce Union strategic will by 2 points. So you could play this up for the Union. If the Union was, in the positive, you basically make them go down 5 points because it's -3 for the change of fortune. So that's the whole strategic will summary. That's basically during the Civil War, both sides was basically trying to make the other side give up. So that's how that concept's abstracted in this game. Mm-hmm. They basically call it strategic will. How can you continue fighting, or is the South going to give up, or is the Union just going to give up and protect the South? Because the South is basically fighting for their independence, basically. Right. The Union's fighting to put the South, back into the Union. So if we go over the we'll do I'll just go through the sequence of play, and then we'll just play out a turn. Yeah. It's the easiest way to kind of demonstrate all the different types of things that's going on. Because the reinforcement phase, it actually has there's 3 steps to the reinforcement phase. So there's place reinforcements. So the Union, they always get a specific amount of strength points, also called SPs. So you have 8 SPs in Washington D.C. Mm-hmm. So they just get, you can take 8 strength points and just place them on on D.C.
Just place them on top.
Yeah. So that you get 8 strength points here, and then
there's a interesting.
Yeah, so if DC's fallen, you basically would place reinforcements in regional or local capitals on that side, and then the 6 for in Ohio or Indiana. So you can basically choose any location. So for this purpose, I'll place 3 in Cincinnati, and 3 in.
Can you split them?
Yeah, you can split them up.
Oh, okay.
You can split them however you want them up. Bloomington, and then Cincinnati will get 3. And then we also go down, and then kind of the western side, Illinois or St. Louis gets an additional 4. So we could put like say 2. We'll put 2 in Cairo, and
is that Cairo?
Yeah, they pronounce it Cairo.
Interesting.
You can call it Cairo. So that you could get 4 and 4 there.
Where's Missouri?
Because there's already 2, and then St. Louis, Missouri already has 1, so we put 3 there. Now the South has a much more different way to reinforce. So they're raising the armies via the states. While the Union's kind of mobilizing on the front, they have guys from Maine and Pennsylvania kind of get on the railroad trains and they kind of mobilize. The South basically raises their reinforcements from their the states themselves will raise the reinforcements, and a lot of times they'll just stay in that state and fight it out because most of the Civil War is fought in the South. So with that in mind, we get 9 strength points. The Confederacy gets 9 strength points, and each strength point is one strength point is placed in each, or one strength point is placed in one in each state. So I could say, okay, Arkansas will get 1. We'll say Tennessee will get 1.
Jeez.
So we'll put 1 in Tennessee. We'll say Louisiana will get 1. Mobile, Alabama. So we have 5 left. We'll put 1 in Virginia. 1 in North Carolina. 1 in South Carolina. 1 in Georgia. And 1 in Florida. So that's the normal strength points. Now they get -1 strength point for each state controlled by the Union. So as the Confederate states start to be lost, you can reduce that number, and that number can also be reduced from the Union side if their capitals are controlled. And border states, so Kentucky and Missouri are border states. We also have West Virginia, but it doesn't apply to the West Virginia one. They get additional 2 strength points. Confederacy will get 2 additional strength points in Kentucky or Missouri. They control it. I'll go into the border states later, but West Virginia, Kentucky, and Missouri were the border states, so they were kind of neat. They didn't go to. They basically stayed in the Union, but they considered themselves neutral in the Civil War until the Union came and basically made them states. So obviously West Virginia was actually part of Virginia.
Yes.
But in this game, it's considered its own separate area. So in the last round, the Union took control of West Virginia. All these numbers here, it basically means, like, the first number means how many states you need, or how many block spaces you need under your control, political control, and the second number is how many blocks there are in total. So if you see here, West Virginia fell to the Union, basically Union gained control of West Virginia because they had 4 political control markers. So it basically got that. And the SW is 5 is strategic will. So you look at Virginia you have to control 14 sections, 14 blocks, but that's 15 strategic will. So like the larger the state, the more valuable it's going to be. So this is the blockade part, right? So blockade just represents like supplies and stuff coming in from Britain. In like France, because the South was still trying to get supplies, but the thing is you can't bring supplies in if there's a Union blockade. So the strength point it basically just represents the blockade strength point, just represents that like supplies are coming in, uniforms, material to make a brigade of troops. So right now the amphibious naval blockade level is at 1. This kept getting moved. Union blockade level is at 1. The Union, I played a card earlier to raise it. You can actually go all the way up to 5.
Ooh.
But however, whatever number it is, so the South rolls a block for each section. So for the North Atlantic, the South rolls a 4. For the South Atlantic, they roll a 6. East Gulf rolls a 6, and oh wow, so West Gulf blockade zone, the blockade stops them, right? So if higher up, if it was like a 2, it would basically be a 1 or a 2 stops reinforcements coming in. So the South gets an additional 1 resource in each of those sections that were successful. And they come in, these are the blockade forts. All the arrow, the red arrows here.
So you put them in these arrows or no?
What arrows?
Well, which arrows are you talking about?
Yeah, so these red arrows here, these represent the blockade blockade forts. So they want you basically get one, like if the North Atlantic gets one, so they place theirs
that
one in Norfolk.
okay.
Yeah, this region, and South Atlantic blockade zone got one, so they placed one in Charleston.
Yeah.
East Coast. St. Mark's is open. This is a event card played. It doesn't start before open, but it becomes a secret blockade runner fort from a card that Don played. Since Don is Floridian himself, he really made sure Florida got all the special events played. Now see, the Union controls Pensacola here.
Yeah.
So you start the game, control the coastal fort. This allows the Union to get basically the Union has to get past the coastal fort to get to the actual the blockade runner fort. So this port is closed.
To the Confederates?
Confederates, yeah. So in theory, if all of the if all the blockade forts or ports are closed, the South would miss out on one like blockade roll. It basically means your roll has failed because you can't get in this section, right?
Right.
Now this port was a failed roll. I rolled a 1. So if you look at the strategic will summary, if you see Union blockade is -2 per field blockade running die roll. So the Confederates go down -2. I was using your pencil. Thanks, by the way, for letting me use your.
Yeah, of course, man.
Your tools.
This is -2.
Yeah, so it's -2, and since their fortune was already minus, they were in the negatives. You don't the fortune of war doesn't affect them.
Okay. So is it becoming -91 or is it becoming -87?
No, they were at -89. So it just it would be -87. Yeah, you were right. Yeah, -87 is what you said.
So okay.
Yeah, so just -2. They started at 100, but they've been losing.
So why is it?
So they went down. The Confederates went down -5.
Yes.
So
this is a positive 95.
No, it's negative. Once they start losing.
This is interesting.
So they started positive. So they should have lost 2 strategic will.
Right.
But since they were at a positive, they lose 5 because their fortunes changed. But now that they've been going negative, it stays negative until they can. The next time they get an increase in strategic will, it switches, so they actually get a bonus of +2.
This is a very intricate game.
Yeah. No, I can tell you this. It's much more complicated than Washington's War.
Yeah. I was like, this looks like Washington.
It's similar in a way, though.
Yeah.
The generals, you'll notice, the generals have there's a lot more similarities with the generals, but overall, it's much more complicated. This is just the place reinforcements. Now the next part of the reinforcement phase is the strategic movement. So if you notice here, we have these railroad cars here. So we have 7 for the South, and the Union has 15. So during the Civil War, there was a lot more railroads on the Union, up in the north.
Yeah.
So they their logistics are better. So they can basically consolidate and move 15 strength points via rail or naval movement. Basically, as long as they're connected by rail, and the South gets 7. Union goes first. So I basically, when I place the troops here, for the most part, I barely ever use the full 15 because I'm usually placing the troops where I need them. But and so like for instance, this guy in Springfield, he's not connected by rail, so he's not eligible to move at all. But this Jefferson City guy can go. He can move by rail down here to Ironton. So that's basically one move. So it goes to 14 here. So and there's restrictions on where you move, but it's basically kind of common sense. You know, you can't move via rail, like through enemy units and stuff like enemy political control. Like down here, I kind of have this army here, but there's only 2 guys. You can connect up to rail, so I can bring these down. So I'll bring these 3 down. Yeah, it's to make this a 5. And then these 3 here. Oh, so I move this down 3 more. Now these 3. Now Burnside here is 2. I'm planning on the Union's planning on going to the Tennessee. See how it's basically this corridor right here is going to be right for the picking for the Union. But Burnside's in Somerset and it's not connected by rail, so I'm gonna have to drop these guys off in Lexington. Or actually, I'll just actually stack. I'm just gonna stack. Yeah, I'm gonna stack this Lebanon here because, in fact, instead of consolidating the forces, hurts on the attrition side of things, but it's gonna help me fight the army of Tennessee. So you know, there's different formations in this game, but the armies are like the biggest and baddest ones. You know, so my intention is basically build an army here. We're gonna have to build this army. Now, as far as on this side over here.
Is that a southern unit right here?
Yeah, so all these guys are basically all on Hanover. And I basically stopped Don from building an army in Hanover. Yeah. Because he had exactly 5 strength points.
What does that mean?
5 strength points is the minimum you need to build an army. But before he could build his army, I played a card to reduce his reduce strength points. Yeah. So I saw that coming because he has Robert E. Lee over here. Yeah. And I basically saw, you know, and they have the army in Northern Virginia. It's like that's where it's gonna go, Army in Northern Virginia. Right now I have an army in the Potomac, so I was basically smashing him. I made some good progress. But one of the moves I can do is a naval move. So I'm gonna actually do a big naval move here. Oh, we moved another 3. So I still have 8 left, and I'm basically at this point, I'm basically already. I'm just gonna consolidate these.
Now is it one move when you go on the railroad? It's just.
Yeah. So you basically. I can make this one can move by rail. And as long as it's continuous on the rail, so I'll just move this one down. I'm actually gonna put him in Lexington, just in case for some reason Burnside can't get over here and stuff happens. I'll use this one here.
And these are only rails, right? This isn't like the land routes.
No, yeah, it's only by rail or naval movement.
Okay.
So I want to do a naval movement now. So I'm gonna bring 3 down to. So DC is connected by water. Yeah. So it's basically kind of like a British and Washington's war. Yeah. They can basically move by water anywhere. Right. So I'm gonna bring 3 down to reinforce Stoneman down here. Because right now I'm really threatening.
Are these from Chessa?
Yes, that's from Chessa, yeah.
Alright.
So I'm threatening Dawn down here. I'll kind of go into the lines of the communications, but basically there's a kind of get over here. You kind of want to split the Confederacy up, kind of. So there's a rail line here.
Yeah.
And there's a rail line here. So basically the Union is trying to just like basically cause as much havoc in the South right now. So I put 5 there. It's gonna force this South, instead of sending all the troops up up to fight the Union up in Kentucky and in Virginia. Now the South is gonna at least have to keep some type of holding force here to address this issue in their rear. Now over here it's kind of a it's the Army of the Potomac cannot be reinforced because it's not connected by rail, which is kind of it's kind of a problem. I can bring troops closer to the Army of the Potomac just to make it easier, and I have 4 left, so that's what I'll do. I'll just leave 1 in DC, 1 strength point in DC, and the other 4 I'll put in Culpeper to make Culpeper 5. And that's the Union's strategic movement. South, same thing for the South, except South is only moving 7 because they're more hampered. You know, their logistics are worse. Carrying. So with the South 7, this is a little bit harder. This is a little bit harder to figure out.
Well, do you really want to fight this? Look, we can do this doohickey. These numbers are reserved for both sides, or is it?
It's for both sides, yeah.
Okay.
So the South can get Kentucky before, like West Virginia is no longer can be controlled by and actually I forgot to do this, but you're supposed to, once you take over an entire border state, you basically it all becomes.
Can't you just have troops just line up in here?
Yeah, so no longer can West Virginia fall. You can't retake. Once a state falls to the Union, you can't retake it, including a Southern Confederate state. So it's like, if the Confederacy takes Missouri or West Virginia, they get the strategic will point, but the Union can come and take it back. But once a state falls, it's done.
It's not even a tug of war, man.
No, that's why I mean it's basically a stalemate, right? So there's basically 3 things we have to address. So Don tried doing this strategy up here.
Yeah.
So to attack the north, it's actually very hard. You need a lot of resources. So he built a fort in Paducah so he could cross the river.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go into the river rules, but basically he needed a fort here to attack me in Illinois. The thing is though, the Confederacy barely ever enters the north. He was trying to do it early game, and I don't think it was. I mean, he was just being creative.
Yeah.
It could have worked. It didn't work. As far as I'm concerned, this is a holding force.
Yeah.
So really, we can try to go. The Confederacy can go for Kentucky, can address this situation down here, or Virginia.
Okay.
They could reinforce all 3 areas, but the problem is if they do that, they're not gonna be. It's gonna be piecemeal troops as opposed to if you go for 1 or 2 spots, you can really get a good turn in. So I would say Kentucky has not yet fallen.
Has it not?
No, so you need 7.
Oh, there's only 6.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I miscounted.
No, that's fine. Yeah, there's 1 more. So I would say Kentucky is definitely needs to be fought. I would say reinforce the Army of Kentucky, or Tennessee, I mean. Reinforce the Army of Tennessee is probably
I thought you couldn't reinforce an army.
No, you can't.
Just the Potomac one?
No, he couldn't. Yeah, Army of Potomac cannot be reinforced because if you look at it, it's in a location that's not connected by rail.
Oh, but if
it was in DC, for instance, it would just automatically get 8, guys dropped into the army.
Oh, okay.
So right now the Army of Potomac strength is at 2. The Army of Tennessee strength is at 4. And we keep these horses here to keep track of when you have the cavalry brigades are their own strength point.
Ooh.
So they're a general, but they're also a strength point. So we keep, while they're in the army, we keep track, of the full strength point army. But if a cavalry brigade leaves the army, it's gonna reduce the strength point of the army.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, so definitely, I'm gonna take 3.
Just slightly.
Yeah, I'm gonna take 3, at least 3. 1, 2, 3 to reinforce Lee.
Oh boy.
Because so right now there's 5, 6. That's 6 strength because they have what are these?
Is there a size limit on each army?
They can have up to 15
Okay.
strength points in the army, but the minimum to make an army is at least 5. So we're gonna want at least 1 more. So I'll do 1 more, just to ensure that the Union doesn't play any tricks like they did before.
Alright.
And reduce. And it's 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're at 7 right now. So that's a pretty good, and it goes down 1 more. So that only leaves us 3 left. So the other 3 are gonna have to go 1, 2.
You don't want to go to Wheeler?
I'll pull this one here. 3. So basically, like to kind of track it, trace it out for you. They basically, like this guy, the SD Ferdinand, would basically track it like this via railroad. So 3 will reinforce the Army of Tennessee. So Army of Tennessee is up to 7 strength point. So unfortunately, we won't be able to address the problem down here, but the Union is going to have some things on their hands, especially if the Army of Virginia is being made and Army of Tennessee makes a few moves. There might be some potential here.
So when it hits 5, does it automatically become an army? Or is
no,
there some...
you have to play a 2 or 3 off card.
Okay.
You use the offs. I'll get into the.
This seems like a very expensive, time-consuming game when you're doing the gameplay. It's like, oh, it doesn't become an army. We gotta train them and doing organization.
Yeah.
So, we need a general too.
And truthfully, the first year of the war, 1861, you play with less cards in your hand.
Oh,
it ramps the war up.
Okay.
So not until 1862 do you actually start playing with 7-hand cards.
What was it before? 5,
so they basically
3?
go 4, 5, 6, and then 1862 basically starts off with
your full hand.
With a full hand of 7.
Jeez.
So the thing is, you're not really, so you're very hampered. So everything you're doing is like, maybe make 1 push, maybe, and then you're basically just trying to play the card, reinforcement type cards and stuff like that. So that's part 2 of the reinforcement phase. Now there's a 3rd reinforcement phase.
Wait, how does this sequence go? Place reinforcements, conduct strategic movement, place general.
Yeah. So we're now placing general. So now this is the fun part. So on each turn track, these generals are added. So you'll probably recognize some of the generals from the book. A lot of these newer generals you won't recognize because whenever they come in, what year they come in, that's like historically when they became like commanding officers.
Yeah.
Some of them were already famous, but basically when they took command. So like Grant, for instance, doesn't come until the middle of 1863.
In the middle of the war,
Basically, yeah. So he was in the entire war, but he wasn't really in a command of army until 1863.
Right.
So it is a weird way they do it. There's only going to be 1 general for the Union.
What is going on?
So you call, so this is a bad example because there's only one. So the Union player knows, okay, I'm getting one, right? Well, where will I put this general? I know I need, the Army of the Potomac really needs a cavalry general, so I'm going to put him in the vicinity of the Army of the Potomac. I could even put him in the Army of the Potomac. Actually, I'll put him in the Army of the Potomac.
Okay.
So when the cavalry general comes on, he's placed into the Army of the Potomac, and they're placed actually face down, so they're not revealed until the end. Now, if the Confederates are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 generals.
Oh, so it's a rollover?
Yeah, so a lot of these generals got captured or eliminated in the previous turn. So I'll have you do these. So you're basically going to be placing the general face down, so it'll just be a general marker. So the Confederate player will not know. Yeah, so will not know where the general is going.
Wait, so the opposite side puts the general somewhere else?
Yeah, no, yeah. So no. So as a Confederate player, I'll put a general here. So just place it face down. So I don't know what general goes here. I'm just placing a general there. Now I'll put another general.
Wait, how many do you get?
In the it's just all the generals that are coming in on this turn. It should only be Longstreet and Jackson.
Yeah.
But like I said, Don had a bunch of other ones getting eliminated. So
yeah.
I'll put another general in the Army of the Tennessee here.
Where is that? Just put it here.
Yeah, just over here.
Face down.
Yeah, it goes face down. And then I'll put so I can have up to +1 general. So there's per strength point. So there's 7 strength points. So I have 1, 2, 3 generals. So I have a lot more area. So I'll put another general here.
You're telling me there's gonna be more chiefs than Indians?
Yeah, there's gonna be a ton. Well, once the army is created, then they kind of come over to this point.
Yeah.
How many? One left.
You have 3 left, dude.
Oh wow. Okay, so I'll put another. Confederates will put another general here.
Am I supposed to know?
No. Well, you have the opponent do that so they can properly place it.
Oh.
So you'll check. You know, the opponent basically places it for you. So the Confederate player is just placing. You're not supposed to know.
You don't know who it is. You just get an additional general.
So yeah, so that's basically.
There's so much randomness in this.
Yeah, so like you're getting a general, but you just don't know who's it gonna be. So I'll put another general here.
Dude, I see Stewart now. I want to lynch him.
Oh, is he? Yeah. All his mistakes.
I don't.
Stewart is on the board. Stewart's in the Army of Tennessee right now.
He's still not doing it.
There's one left.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just put that in Virginia.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you got something going on here.
Yeah. So basically, I'll put one in Dover, Tennessee.
Does this have a commander? Oh, that is the.
Yeah. So now we basically flip. So just all the generals get flipped now.
Smith and Jackson over here.
Oh, nice. Those are the.
Pleasanton.
Yeah. So when so once they enter the army, they basically go onto the army track here.
Oh. Well, what happens if you make a new army? Like there was no army with Robert E. Lee.
Yeah. So there's no army here, so all these guys just get stacked.
Jeez.
In this spot.
All right. Let's see.
But so normally a strength point would be removed because the Pleasanton came in, but the army that stays the same, we just put that there. So Pleasanton basically takes up a strength point. So, and then who entered here? This is Pemberton and Longstreet.
Yeah, I like Longstreet.
Yeah.
All right.
Now Pemberton. So you'll notice there's a blue number next to the generals.
Yeah.
Cavalry generals do not have it. That just signifies their political rating.
There's politics in this too?
So political rating forces you to do stuff with the generals that you don't not normally want to do. Because you have good generals and you have really poor generals. But unfortunately you have to use all your generals.
What is a high number, and what does that do?
So
McKellen has 10. What does that mean?
So that just means like he's like highly favored. So like let's say you were gonna make an army and McClellan was part of the was on the same space as McClellan.
Yeah.
He would have to be the commanding general.
Ah, he's got seniority.
Unless now you can say he's not gonna be the commanding general, but you're gonna actually take strategic will penalty for not making him the commanding general.
Sometimes it's advantageous.
Because you're basically giving somebody else a promotion over him.
Yeah. But hey man, it's to the best man.
So there should be hopefully there's some armies created in this battle.
Yeah.
So then we can kind of I'll demonstrate how that works.
Do we deal on hands or?
Yeah, so that actually finishes up the reinforcement phase. So now we go to the strategy hand, and we'll play with the cards face up.
Okay.
So we each get 7.
Is there a side that gets it first?
I mean, America first, I would say, but both sides are America. So Union first.
Okay. Whatever, man. What side are you playing on this time? Was it 3, 7? 3, 7. Okay.
I'll have you just manage the Union hand.
Okay.
Just for purposes of continuity.
Is Emancipation Proclamation a card, or is that just a term?
That's a card.
Oh, it is a card?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're telling me it could never happen in an entire game?
Yes, so there's that one is actually Emancipation Proclamation that's like one of the hardest interpreted cards because you basically need a battle Union has to have fought a large battle and then you play it afterwards basically. So it's like a double you only play it if like there's a large battle happening.
It's a trap.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So how the who plays first? Well, the Confederates have the option to play a campaign card. If they choose not to play a campaign card, the Union plays first. That simple. There's no way. So the Confederates have a campaign card, so they could play first. However, the problem is the Army of Virginia is still not created yet. So
you have.
I have one army though, but it's not.
Do you have any armies here?
No armies. Army of Tennessee is the only one.
So when you.
So I can still attack.
Yeah.
What's called a core move is basically having one general can pick up some SPs. They're allowed 6 SPs. They can move 8 spaces and still attack. But the thing is, when you when you attack, you want an army attacking basically. At this point in the game, obviously still be core attacks, but right now I'm gonna save this campaign. This Confederates will save the campaign card until they make the army in North Virginia. Then it's gonna go in. So it's gonna be the Union player's turn. Now, don't worry at all if you have a Confederate related card. The gray color signifies the Confederate. Blue is Union. Blue and gray is neutral. Or it can be used. It's kind of like favors either. If you play a Confederate card, there's no disadvantage. There's not even a way to retrieve it basically.
Oh man.
Like there's if you discard it or something, there's no way to get it back. So so these are 3 off cards, and a 2, and then these are 1s here. So the Union basically has the option. So what does the Union want to do? We kind of know what the Confederates are planning, but we also know that the Union also needs to prepare for this battle here. We have to prepare for the Kentucky here, so our goal is to make an army in Lebanon.
How do you make an army? Or what card makes an army?
2 or 3 operations cards, you discard it, and then you can create an army. So we want to make an army in Lebanon, and we're also worried about the Army of the Potomac, because right now the Army of the Potomac is sitting at 2 strength points, and we know that Northern Virginia is going to occur soon. The creation of an army is going to happen. It's basically the writings on the wall.
Crippen? compromise for
Okay.
2 ops.
Yeah. So do you want to? Would you like to create this army, or well, you want to create this army?
Yeah.
That's all you really can do, really.
So does it just become one of these armies?
So you get to choose. Do you want the Army of Tennessee, Army of Cumberland, or Army of Missouri? It doesn't really matter. It's just a title. You could have the Army of Missouri over in Virginia.
Tennessee.
Okay.
Tennessee will fight Tennessee.
So there's 8 strength points, so these go away, and you just put. It's now at 8 strength points. And now, so now there's the whole way you do the general. So who's higher? Buell. So Buell gets put into he's in the commanding officer, and Pope is now the secondary officer. Now Buell's at 6, so you look around. Is there anyone on the board not in an army? So if they were in an army, they don't apply, but just anyone on the board, any general on the board with a higher political rating.
Higher?
Higher political rating.
Not equal, right?
No.
Yeah, there's a Vermont of 8. That is not in the army. McKellen?
Yeah, so there's at least one.
Yeah.
So basically McClellan strategically well politically, McClellan was like next in line to get an army, but since he didn't get his army, the Union get -2 to the strategic will.
So Union is positive.
So that's change of fortune, so they get -3 for changing fortune, so it's a net of -5.
-5. So does this become 103 positive or
103 negative? Because they just changed their yeah, they changed
I'll get it eventually,
yeah.
but
Yeah, now they're going down. Like basically now everyone's like, oh, McClellan didn't
like,
get the job.
Here's a piece of candy. Oh, now it just became vinegar or something.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Now, if let's say for whatever reason I wanted to make Pope the commanding general.
Yeah.
Well, Pope has 4, Buell has 6. So it would take -2 for each general in a space over which a new commanding general is promoted. So basically, you would take an additional
2, 3
-2 for because basically he got the promotion, or if he got promoted, they would take -2 basically for making him the commanding general.
Yeah.
So once they become commanding generals, it's really hard to get rid of them from the command. Well, you could have to take strategic will loss or something.
Yeah.
And let's say there's like McClellan was in the same space as well, then it would be -4. Basically, for every general over whoever the commanding general is, you get -2 to that. But fortunately, Pope is a chump as far as political rating. So that's what the Union Army does. Well, Confederates will do the same thing since we're all army making, and they'll place 2 to make the Army of Northern Virginia.
Oh, snap.
So,
what is that?
This is going to go to, there's 6 SPs.
There's a lot of generals there.
6 SPs. Morgan is his own SP since he's a cavalry general. So he goes up. So basically, the Army of Northern Virginia is at 7 SPs now.
Okay.
And both of these armies have cavalry generals. R.E. Lee has a political rating of 8, and he's definitely going to be. Robert E. Lee is definitely going to be the general of the Army of Northern Virginia.
If you think so.
Now, is there anyone on the board that has a higher political rating than R.E. Lee?
We're talking about Confederates, right?
Right.
I don't know if you guys can beat 8.
Joe Johnson has 8. Oh, Albert Sidney Johnson has 10. So the Confederates take -2.
So this is a -89 now?
-85. Because it was at 87, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute. It's 87 -2, right? It's 85.
Okay.
Is that?
Yeah, no, the signs are very confusing.
Oh yeah,
right?
the map minus
yeah,
thing?
I was like, wait.
There's minus.
Yeah.
So that was basically it in an army in Northern Virginia is in Hanover here. So that's it for the Confederate turn. So now we go back to the Union force. So we made the Army of the Tennessee here. And we also have the Army of the Potomac, and we kind of wanted to do something down here too.
Is there no army down there?
There's a there's a general. So you can activate the generals, and they can basically do a core move, so they can still attack. And since there's only 2 SPs here, we may want to consider attacking Pollard if you want. So you can attack Pollard, or you can start trying to make moves in Missouri if you want, because we need one more for Missouri.
What happens when you lose an army?
Bad strategic will. Destroying an army, I think, is 5.
Oh man.
Yeah, -5 for the Confederacy, -10 for the Union. So you don't want your armies getting destroyed. So I think the Union would want to build the Army of the Potomac up, because right now it's pretty low, and now if you look at it.
Who's the leader of the Potomac?
Right now it's McDowell, who's not. He's not good. So basically, to move the army, you have to basically activate the generals, the commanding general, who's a 3. So you basically, to activate him, similar to Washington's War, you need to play a 3 off card.
Can I just move people into the army?
Or you can move people into the army. For instance, like you could activate McClellan with his 2, go up, make a move in Winchester, which I can kind of show you how you can get control of Winchester. Joe Johnston is kind of stuck here because he lost the SP, but McClellan lost the battle, so he couldn't enter it.
Yeah.
So you can basically go up to Winchester and then come back down and basically drop everybody off in Army of the Potomac.
Okay.
Which is probably the best move right now. We have a fort here in Manassas, so we're really. The north is pretty much protected, but we have to start, getting it forced up.
Okay.
So if the Union plays a 3 operations card, they'll activate McClellan, and corps can move up to 8 spaces. So McClellan can really just grab a bunch of SPs. So you can go up to Winchester, you'll drop 1 SP off, so Joe Johnston gets captured. So he's coming in next turn.
Yep.
And then McClellan can come back here, and then you can even do a finagling thing where he can go up here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he could grab these 2 SPs, come back, grab those. Well, actually, the max you can do is 6.
That's fine.
So you can just leave the difference in. And then just plop them all in the Army of the Potomac.
So does McClellan get the Potomac now?
No, so he doesn't. He just gets put into the Army of the Potomac, which is actually kind of a good thing. Because now he's in the Army of the Potomac. He's second in command of the Army of the Potomac right now.
Can we bump this up to 9 now?
Yeah, exactly. So McClellan's in the Army of the Potomac here. And we kind of consolidated all this, so that's a good thing here.
Yep.
Now we go back, so the Confederates are now worried. So we have this minor campaign which we can use now. We can actually do some battles. I think that's, what do you think? Go on the offensive? Kelso?
Yeah, let's just show it.
Okay, so the Confederates will play a minor campaign, so they basically can activate, conduct 2 moves. Basically activate 2 generals. So they're going to activate R.E. Lee and Bragg. So the first R.E. Lee, the Army of Northern Virginia, will just go straight into. They're going to go straight into Winchester here. We'll make it really simple. The Army of Northern Virginia attacks. Now we go to the how to resolve a battle. So there's going to be combat result table here.
Okay.
In the combat result table, you have to count the SP. So Northern Virginia has 7. Army of the Potomac has 9.
So
it's going to be it's basically a medium battle. So you're rolling on the medium battle column.
Okay.
Now we figure out the die roll modifier. So the Confederates can use, their armies can always use, you always use a commanding general's force or battle rating, and then 2 other generals.
What is the battle rating for the commanding general?
R.E. Lee, it's on the left. The left number is 3.
Okay.
Below, under the blue there.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be 3. And then he's gonna also use Jackson, because he's 3 as well, so 6. And then he's gonna use a cavalry commander, Morgan, for 2. So that's 8. 8 battle rating.
Okay.
And then if you look down here, there's other die roll modifiers. So there's like a force ratio. So if it's 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, they get plus a certain amount to the die roll modifier. But Union has 9, Confederates have 7, so there's no force ratio differences. And then you kind of look down here, there's other modifiers, but none of them are applicable to this battle. So what did we say, 8 was it? No, we do 8. Yeah, so Confederates have 8, and then they roll 1 more dice, and they get a 3. So they max out their roll, basically is 11, basically. So it only goes up to 10.
Possible general casualty.
Now there's a potential general casualty, and on it's actually it says def and attack, defender and attacker. It's basically like the defender loses that many casualties. So basically there's going to be, it gets a 3 and an asterisk. So now the Union, we determine the Union. So unfortunately the Union is only going to be using 2 generals, the commanding general and one other general.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
the cavalry got that one.
So now you're looking at the right side.
You're attacking me. Okay.
Well, the Union. We're doing this for the Union. So basically, the defender value is going to be on the right. So McDowell has 1, and then we're going to use McClellan for 2.
Okay.
So that's 3 die roll modifier. And they don't get any other. Now, the Union armies can use 2 secondary generals. They can, if they're fighting like something that's not an army, or their attack value is equal to or higher than the opposing Confederate general. This is just to signify how bad the Union generals were. They could never figure out how to win a battle. So basically, the Army of Potomac is only going to be using 1 additional general. So you use the commanding for 1, and then McDowell's for 2. So that's 3. We can commit a elite unit. Would you like to commit the elite unit?
Sure.
So the elite unit is committed. Wilder's brigade. So that's that's 4. And then would you like to roll a dice, Kelso?
Dude, I need to max this out.
Yeah.
2.
So a whopping 6. Oh wow, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, I know.
So now we look at the defender's roll, attacker's result. So the attacker loses 1.
And I lose 2.
Union's gonna lose 3. Remember? The Confederates rolled basically 11 or more.
Yeah.
So basically, to win a battle, it's whoever does more casualties. So if I did 2 and you did 3, then you would win the battle. And if I did 3, in this case, the Confederates did 3, Union did 1, so the Confederates won.
Yeah.
Now if they both tied, let's say they both did 2, the defender wins ties unless they've got an asterisk.
Okay.
Unless there's an asterisk on the result. But anyways, So the Confederates, Army of Northern Virginia loses 1 SP. Army of Potomac loses 3.
Jeez.
And since there was more than there was more than 1 casualty, the elite unit is lost. They basically take all the casualties. They threw, McDowell throws those guys in.
Cannon fodder.
Now we're gonna roll for casualties, general casualties.
I thought you only rolled. I don't. I only got 6.
No. I'll double check the rules now. There's gonna be a rule check. I actually haven't done a general casualty in a while, or we haven't done a general casualty in this game. There's less chance of when your general's dying. The player that rolled a 10 loses a general on a die roll of 1 or 2 or 3. The player that did not roll a 10 loses only on a die roll of 1. So Confederates roll a 4, so they don't get a general casualty. If the Union rolls,
I need to roll a 1 or 2 to lose a general.
If you roll a 1, you lose a general.
And that number never changes, right?
Well, it would be a less than a 3 or less would make a general. Or if you made it to the red bar.
Yeah.
Basically, if you did enough damage, then basically it would be 3 or less, you could potentially lose a general. So it depends on what you roll.
So getting a high number it doesn't necessarily mean a good thing either. Like you could lose the general. Okay.
Yeah. Now, getting a high number, there is a stipulation. If you have a 3 or 1, if it's 3 or 1 on you, you don't lose it. You'll get a casualty.
That's a lot of people.
So basically, it's like if the Northern Army of Northern Virginia is like attacking a couple SPs or something, and you just slam it in, you just not have a chance at the general. Yeah, it's basically if there's a slaughter. Also, it also has opportunity, like if there's a high force ratio, that you can move after a battle, but in this case you can't because there wasn't much of a ratio. So the Army of Potomac has to retreat, and the Army of Northern Virginia gets to advance.
Well, how many troops are here too?
So what do you think, man? So Army of Northern Virginia is gonna go right here.
Do you take that marker off?
Not until at the end of the turn you can. Also, if it gets reactivated, instead of using, because armies can move up to 6 bases. So like, let's say hypothetically there was a marker here for whatever reason. So before the Army of Northern Virginia attacked up to Culpeper or the Wilderness, it could have went like 1, 2, 3, 4, or it could have went up.
Yeah.
So if the Army, the Potomac kind of comes in, it could go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's something called out of supply. So there's lines of communication. So you basically have to trace your line of communication back, or you're out of supply. So is this the Union Army went to Culpeper?
Yeah.
Alright, so that it gets +1 on its strength, and now it's back up to 7. So now on the second minor campaign, the Army of Tennessee will attack the Army of Tennessee.
I did that.
The Army of Tennessee will attack the Army of Tennessee.
The northern one will fight
the Northern Army of Tennessee. Now, so we do the same thing. Both sides, that has 8, this has 7, so there's gonna be another medium battle.
Okay.
No force modifiers. Bragg, it has a 1. He has 1, and then it's gonna go. We'll use Forrest and Stewart, who are 2 cavalry generals here. So that's gonna be a 6. So they're getting 6 to the modifier. There's nothing else. So we roll 2, or we're rolling on the +2 here, and we get a 5. So that's going to be another 10 plus result.
Alright.
So the Confederates are scoring really high.
Yes, I know.
And then
I get a 1.
You get a 1. And actually you get a -2. Because the Union gets a -2 if no cavalry intelligence in an army-to-army battle.
Stewart.
Oh yeah, so that's the Stewart, yeah. So actually, so that simulates.
So minus.
Wait, what? No, -2 the modifier for the battle.
Oh. Alright.
So it basically it can't go below 0.
Well, then
it's -2, so it's gonna get you have
the
to get
base
a 1.
die.
Yeah.
1. Am I losing this or what?
Yeah. So it does 1. So the Army of Tennessee goes down 1 strength point.
I don't think I lose any, right?
And Army of Tennessee, remember there was 3. The Confederates did 3 damage. So the Army of Tennessee goes down 3 to 5. It goes down to 5.
Oh.
And now we have to roll for battle general casualties again. So the Confederates are the ones that actually rolled the one that was higher. So there's a 1, 2, or 3 a general could die. And we're safe again.
Oh, do I roll?
Yes, but you're only rolling on a 1, a general casualty.
Ah!
Oh! Okay, so general casualties is it can't be the commanding general. There's like special event cards that kill him, but yeah, so that one, yeah, so he's gone. He's out of the game. Which he's actually a very mediocre. Pope is not that great of a commander.
No,
He's actually semi-good because he has a rating of 2. So you can activate him on a 2 or a 3. Most Union generals can only be activated on 3s.
He's just a 1-star.
Yeah. So the Army of Tennessee falls back, and the Army
Can I go
you can
way?
go. Yeah, you can go either way.
Do I grab that general?
Yeah. So actually, you can put Burnside and 2 strength points in the Army of Tennessee, and the Army of Tennessee advances.
The Southern Army of Tennessee.
Yeah, the Southern Army of Tennessee, exactly.
Oh, this.
Oh, that was here. That was here. So that's still technically full control.
Alright.
Alright. Well, that was it for the Confederate turn. So now we go to the Union turn.
What can I do with my ops?
Various items. What you can do is basically you move your forces. You can build forts. The Union can build forts on a 1, 2, or 3 op card. You can place political control markers. So, for instance, like Missouri right now needs 7. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you place play this 2 op card, you can place 2 political control markers in Missouri.
Yeah, let's do that.
So now, basically, unless the Confederates do something about it, you'll get
Missouri.
And the Confederates now.
I wonder if battles are very important here.
Oh, they definitely are, yeah.
So it's not exactly like Washington's War then. Because the PC markers were way more important than the battles themselves.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. This game, I would say the PC markers are important as far as gaining control of the states, which you have to do to win. But you can only place the PC markers in the border states, basically.
Yeah,
so
that's the only ones that count.
To get PC markers in the Confederate states, the Union actually has to bring troops down. So they're gonna have to basically send the troops down and start to really do damage. So the Confederates play Confederate Overseas Agent. Confederate immediately receives 3 SPs in any open blockade run or port. No more than 1 SP per port, but more than 1 SP per blockade. So the 3 that it will get, 1 will go to Mobile, Alabama. One will go to Columbus.
Oh no, I'll just do I'll interrupt your activation of any troops? Or?
Yeah, no, that's, oh yeah, so the empty haversack one is, you can play it,
Dang it.
cancel activation.
I should have just
yeah.
done it.
But the Union can hold on to that, because I'm sure the Confederates might want to do some more.
Does this hand roll over?
No, you play it till then.
That would have been a really perfect.
But you know what? The battles have to go down.
Yeah.
So you can basically save that for the next. You know, I'm sure there will be another one that you'll want to take care of.
All right.
So the Union just basically reinforce, or the Confederates basically reinforce some of their blockade forts.
Okay.
With SPs. Now the Union, the Union would probably want to hold on to this one.
Maybe either this one or make an army down in that fort. You know what? Let's go make an army. Is that
okay? So cavalry general cannot be. Unfortunately, yeah.
Is there any more generals?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, then I will.
You can also do the operations queue, which is the.
Operations
queue is when you
bank it.
When you bank it. Over here. So what's the situation going on here?
Dude, I don't.
DC is kind of safe in a way. The Confederates can't attack a fort over a river, a Union fort over the river. So basically, to get to DC, they have to like come down from Frederick. So, you know, the Army of Northern Virginia has to go slog through a lot of this, and then they're basically giving up their position, basically to get cut off.
Yeah.
Unless they leave forces behind. So in a way, it's kind of like a stalemate. So.
What can I do? How much does it cost to move an army?
So it's the commanding general he costs 3 to activate.
Okay, so can I go army up to Curtis, bring all troops, including Curtis, into battle?
Yeah, and attack it from this direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
And remember, you can have up to 6, so you can even go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What is Potomac at? Potomac's past it.
Well, no, I'm saying you have 6 moves.
Oh,
so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But keeping these guys here kind of might be a good idea because it prevents because you can detach the Confederates could detach like a general from the army and take a couple SPs to kind of like do like damage. Right. Like take Jackson in the valley or something. So sometimes it's better just to keep these here. Yeah. Because there's attrition as well, so you know. Okay. Having the guys spread out is useful, so that's a good idea. So, did you increase it?
I have not.
Did you get Curtis's? How many guys are in there? 2?
2.
So, alright, Potomac goes up to 9.
Yep, and then I throw Curtis. This Potomac. Alright, there's 3 generals. Oh, wait, can I only get 2 or 3? No, you can have 3 more than the amount of strength points. Oh. So you could have, right now, you could have 12 generals. This is like having more admirals than ships, dude. Alright, cool. So
you'll attack the Army of Northern Virginia. So now I'll demonstrate the retreat.
Oh, there's a retreat option?
Yeah, there's a retreat option. I didn't want to overwhelm you with all the. So basically, I'll go into intercepting as well. If I don't go into it this game, just remind me. I'll tell you what intercept. Yeah. So retreat, you roll on the commanding general's defense value. So basically 3 or less. Okay. Now, if you have a cavalry in the army, it's a -2 to the die roll.
Oh, you sure you want to do this?
So, this is definitely going to happen. Oh, wow. So, -2 is 4. So, that was the one number that R.E. Lee. So, R.E. Lee instead of retreating, he has to fight.
Okay, here we go.
So, it probably had something to do, maybe he has Morgan as a cavalry general. So, maybe Morgan was fast asleep at the wheel, doing some ceremony somewhere.
Alright, so let's see.
So it's 9 on 6, so that's going to be a medium battle again. And you're attacking with, so you have to use a commanding general's attack value of 1.
Plus Pleasington.
And plus Pleasington is 2.
That's it, dude. Everything else is 0.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
So you roll on your 2.
Good luck getting a 10. 4. Look at that.
So 4, you're gonna do 1 damage.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did you use this card to your 3? This is the one I just played.
Yes. Yeah.
Alright. So
4.
So I get 4. So yeah. So now Ari Lee has 3. He's gonna use Jackson's 3 for 6, and then I'll just use the Beauregard's 1, so that's 7.
You gonna hit a 10?
We'll see. So 7 plus 6 is 10 plus, so there's general casualties. Higher chance that my side will take the casualties since they rolled it.
So I'm losing.
Arnold Potomac loses 3,
Oh, you gotta be
and
kidding me.
Northern Virginia loses 1. So I roll, see if I have general casualties. And the Confederates are safe.
Oh.
And the Union is safe.
Alright.
Alright,
so I lost that though.
Yeah, so you have to return whence you came.
Okay.
Was that it was here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That was a failed attempt?
Yeah. Alright, so the Confederates will use his 1-off card.
As an off or
as an off.
Oh.
Or as an activation. And he's gonna activate Forrest, Nathan Bedford Forrest.
Yeah.
And Nathan Bedford Forrest is gonna act as a cavalry general brigade. So he's the cavalry brigade generals can actually be like they can actually take guys with them.
Yeah.
But that would be a corps move. But for this purpose, that he's gonna be a cavalry general, and he's gonna go 1. And cavalry raids, if you're moving independently, cavalry raids can do 10. They can move 10 spaces.
Yeah.
So he'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna just demonstrate. I'm not gonna demonstrate. That's what a cavalry raid looks like. But that's how I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna take 3 from the Army of the Tennessee here. Or he's gonna have 2 basically, because 3 are departing. He counts as 1. So this is gonna be a corps move. And he's gonna go 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, he can't go through there. He has to attack.
You attacking?
Yeah, so I guess Nathan Bedford Forrest will attack as a corps. These 1s here.
Sure.
So it's 2 to 1, so there's no ratio for 2 to 1. So we just use the general Nathan Bedford Forrest has 3. Unfortunately, he's out of line. He's out of supply. Oh, he's gonna be +2 on the small. So it's a small battle. So 8 would be a 1 asterisk, but it's gonna be a victory anyways because this is the last SP. There's only 1 SP anyways. So you'll roll on the Union rolls 5. So that's a 1. So Nathan Bedford Forrest loses 1.
Is there still troops with this guy?
And it was just a 1 SP. So Nathan Bedford Forrest wins the battle and he goes here.
By itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, when you roll a 5, it actually got +2 because Nathan Bedford Forrest was out of a line of communications.
Yeah.
That's a 7. So that still gives you a 1. But that's just line of communications. You basically have to trace. The Confederates have to trace their communications back to these are resource spaces or a open blockade fort. So basically, you have to trace them back that way. The Union traces line of communication off the board and the naval, basically like any type of naval spot. But you can't trace it past. So the riverine rules are. It's like it has a whole chapter in the rule book. I won't go into riverine rules, but there is a lot of like riverine rules. Like you can't trace line of communication past the fort. So these two forts on the Mississippi. Yeah, so you can't. So if a Union army is like behind lines, they can't trace their supply through like this fort here.
Can it trace it through a Union-controlled fort?
Yeah. And the Confederates, like I said, it a lot harder. But I won't really touch on the riverine rules on this game because, like I said, it's really convoluted.
Right.
So Nathan Bedford Forrest is basically so he weakened the army in the Tennessee.
You did?
Yeah, because basically he.
Your Tennessee.
He left. Yeah, he left the Confederate army in the Tennessee, and basically did kind of wreak some havoc in the behind the field here.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the
Tennessee Army.
The Army of Tennessee now has 7, and Army of Tennessee only has 3. So now it's kind of shifting here.
Yeah.
So it's actually the Union players' move. So in theory, instead of letting me do that, you could have played the empty haversack move. But as a Union player, I would probably hold on to it, knowing what I know, because I still have 3 cards left. You don't know what these are, but these ones are pretty strong.
I guess I'll get a elite unit.
Okay, so you have option of Wilder Brigade and the Iron Brigade, the Black Hats. The Black Hats from Gettysburg. Day 1 of Gettysburg.
Oh, yeah.
Reynolds Corps.
Yeah.
So you can put them in the army. So you have the Army of Tennessee or the Army of Potomac.
What's your Virginia, Northern Virginia, 5?
Yeah, it's at 5.
Well, I'm definitely.
Okay. Yeah, you just put them up there then.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
you just put them like up here, wherever. Yeah. This just keeps track because it'd be like crazy on what was on the board. All right, so I'll play the Trent Affair. This is Seidel and Mason captured by the Union Navy while on board the English steamer Trent. So it was like an English ship going from England, and these were like ambassadors that were trying to Confederate ambassadors. So there's this big affair basically. But anyways, Confederates gained 5 strategic will points. And discarded. So now you can see change of fortune.
Is it 90 now?
Positive? So it goes up 7, yeah.
Oh, plus 7, so 92?
Yeah, so
this is positive?
Yeah, it's on positive now. Because I got 5 and then change of fortune gives me 2. Yeah.
I forget how long these turns are. And then that was it?
Yeah, that was it. Now you can do this Belmont raid here.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
You could activate the Stoneman, try and make a move down here, try to cut me off here. So normally it's basically like an activation. You get to do an activation, and you move up to 3, may move up to 2 SPs. This move is a core move and may enter the enemy. So you can basically activate the cavalry Stoneman and take a SP with you and then assault Pollard here.
Is there a guy in this fort?
Yeah, there was a fort. Yeah.
So what happens when you assault a fort? It's harder?
Yeah, it's an amphibious. Well, it depends. A land fort gives you the bonuses, die roll bonuses. But when you do a coastal fort, to get into Pensacola, I basically had to make sure that Fort Pickens had fallen. So it's much harder to capture New Orleans. So there's a ironclad in Fort Philip Jackson. So I'm restricted. I can't actually get past this fort to go up the Mississippi or any of these tributaries. So it's basically to assault a fort, it costs 3 ops you move up to 3 guys and 1 general, and basically assault the fort. And there's like a whole die roll modifier and stuff. It's kind of one of those things. It's easier just to demonstrate.
All right. Well, I guess I'll take. Wait, can I assault Morgan or?
No, so you want to go.
going
Yeah, you want to go here. So you take Stoneman as 1 SP, pieces of the cavalry brigade, and then